My name is Christian Fori Amanfo, and I want to introduce my presentation, um, Human Diversity, Infant and Toddler Paper Presentation Portfolio, Part 3, um, Adolescent Observation and Analysis. So I'll start from the introduction right here. So growth and development are two concepts that are often used interchangeably in child study, and each appears to be dependent on the other. However, the two are not the same. The two concepts are distinguished below to enable students to apply them more appropriately. Um, when we talk about growth, so growth, according to Lefrancois 1975, it refers to the quantitative physical changes such as increase in weight and height. So fundamentally, growth refers to increment of the body tissues, organs, and structures. In its true sense, according to Rudwick in 1965, however, growth is a progressive increment in volume, weight, number, and measurable attitudes. So it must be noted, however, that growth is subsidiary of development, and it is true. So when we talk about growth literally, so according to Rudwick and then according to Lefrancois, so if you increase in weight, if you increase in height, if you increase in tissue, body mass, etc., it is growth. Development. According to Herlock, 1968, development is a progressive series of changes in an orderly, coherent pattern. Anderson. According to Anderson, 1960, he stresses that development is not merely change in physical size or proportion, but then it is a complex process of integrating many structures and functions. So it is not just about physical sizes or changes in your physical appearance that he calls development, but he also coined that it is a complex process of integrating many structures and functions. That's the ability of all structures to come together to function as one without any malfunction. I'll say that. So infants and toddlers are born ready to learn. They learn through cuddling with a caregiver, listening to languages, experimenting with sound, and moving their bodies, reaching for objects, tasting food, and exploring their environment. So, as children, brains go through amazing changes during the first 3 years of their lives. So, in this my presentation, we will learn about the physical, cognitive, emotions, and also social development infants and toddlers go through. Let's look at the physical and motor development. So, physical and development refers to changes in height, changes in weight, changes in bone thickness, brain senses, organs, the teeth, muscles, hair, sexual characteristics, um, and also the growth to full maturity. So, motor skills such as learning to walk and to write, catch and throw a ball are all part of physical development, as we all know. And also, we can see that there are, in fact, three main areas in which this occurs. talking about three areas of physical and motor development. And we can talk about increase in the size and strength of the body. We can talk about increase in the ability to control the gross muscles of the limbs, as well as the finer muscles of the hands and fingers. Also, we can talk about changes in the proportions of the body, as well as the shape of the body with regards to sexual differences. So if you look at the pictures that are flowing, you can compare them to this presentation and you understand what I'm trying to talk about. It must be stressed, however, that for each child, the physical characteristics that occur, the rate of development of these characteristics, as well as physical structures that will be finally attained at maturity, will depend upon what he has inherited genetically from the parents or environmental factors. Um, let's also go to major physical growth and changes during adolescence. So before your child grows into adolescent, from toddlerhood or from his childhood, there are major, physical growth that they go through. So when we talk about physical growth, they are, observable. You can see them. We can talk about physical growth and changes during infancy, birth from 2 years. We can talk about the average infant weigh about 3.4 kilograms and measures about 50 centimeters in length. Growth in cartilage and other body parts. Boys are generally taller and heavier at birth than girls. At birth, infants can already see and hear, but without as much accuracy as adults. So, at birth, as soon as a child is born, their eyes are working, so they can see, and they have all their nervous, let me say, um, the senses, all their senses are working. The sense of smell, um, ability to, to respond to stimuli, to the environment, everything works. Motor skills such as sitting, crawling, creeping, walking, running, etc. So these are all, let me say, major physical growth and changing during infancy. So before the child grows into infancy, to childhood, from infancy, so we have talked about this one, physical growth, which includes the average the weight from about 3.4 kilograms and the measure of 50 centimeters in length. They are all physical growth. You can see. We can talk about the bones, which are soft and flexible because of the cartilage. They are all, physical growth, they go through. And we can also see boys are taller, sometimes they weigh heavier than girls during birth. They are all physical growth. Infants can see, but without as much accuracy as adults. That is true. The eyes are working, the sense of smell, and everything functions. Infants show a preference for sweet liquids and less sensitive to pain than older children. Yeah. Also, lastly, we talked about motor skills such as sitting. Babies start to learn how to sit. Crawling, babies start to, to crawl so that they can pick anything they see. Creeping, baby starts to creep and they start to walk at a certain age. And when they get to, developing to a certain age, they learn how to run, jumping, and playing with their colleagues. So this presentation has enlightened us on um, the physical changes, adolescence observation and analysis, physical changes that children go through, observable features and non-observable features children go through. And I think with the pictures that are attached to this presentation, everybody who reads will understand the concept very very well. Thank you all for having time to go through my presentation, and I think it benefits you. Any question, any addition is welcomed. Thank you all. Bye bye.